What's up, people? It's Jonathan Lacey, and we're back with another episode of the Laced Up Podcast. And I brought back hip hop's biggest fan for another episode because look, my man, he's a dope dude, all right, and
I
you guys
appreciate
seem
that.
to really
Appreciate
like
that.
him. Yeah, man. My uncle, he listened to the whole episode and he said he loved it, man. So
Okay.
yeah, he really
Shout out
appreciated
to
it,
y'all.
man. Yeah, yeah, shout out to Uncle Everett out there. And the 757. But yeah, man, he really liked it, and I got a lot of good feedback from him, man. So yeah, like, I'm glad to have
That's
you
good
back
money.
on,
Yeah, absolutely.
man. But first off though, guys, I want to talk about the Super Bowl first because I
Yeah.
know a lot of y'all out there was thinking that I was crazy for saying that. Hey, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to beat them by 12 points, but they end up putting that it was a 22-point spread out there, man.
Yeah, it blew him out. I mean, blew him out terribly.
They and just kind of like you were saying before, I was kind of expecting Kansas to at least put up at least one or two touchdowns, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, absolutely. With that quarterback and that offense, like for them not to score a touchdown at all is unbelievable. Like,
It was.
you know,
I couldn't believe it
yeah,
because I think like looking back at the stats last night, you know, their defense only blitzed 5 times. They blitzed Patrick Mahomes 5 times last night. That was
okay, I
it.
did see that. I did see that on like we was talking about the highlights and all that. But
Yeah.
that four man up front, they touched them like 15% of the
Oh,
time or something from what I heard.
they were in his face every single like except for probably the first couple of plays of the game. They, besides that, they were in his face every single time. And sure, they had injuries on the offensive line where it
Yeah.
really affected. I think they had to switch a couple of their players around, like
Was it like three
playing.
of them or something? I think it was like three of them.
I think so. So no, actually, I think it was two people, but they end up having to switch those two, like the two people that are already on the starting line. They had to
Put them in a
put it,
different position.
yeah, and then you had
Oh
to bring
yeah,
in
that's no
another
good.
guy. Yeah, so they was kind of screwed up there because not a lot of like from the casual fan, they don't people don't realize that in football, if your offensive line, if you missing two or more, it can
That's
play a big
everything.
role.
That's
Exactly,
everything.
exactly.
Um, even if you switch, let's say a left tackle to a right guard, it's not the same position. It
No,
is not the same scheme that you have to protect the quarterback. It is really a whole different role. Like it's really a whole different role. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It's essentially like trying to ask a wide receiver to be a tight end or something. Like, bro, that's not what I do. This is not
No,
where I play. This is
right.
not, But like you said, for the casual fan, they think, oh, you can just switch them out and they're all professionals. No, the starters are the
Nah,
starters
man.
for a reason.
Exactly, exactly. They making the money that they are for that exact reason, man. But I want to like point out too, because Tom Brady, you and I both already knew going into that game, Tom was going to ball out. We already knew that.
Don't don't bet against Tom Brady.
You can't. And what's crazy, you know, I know like up here in the New England area,
Oh, they love him.
there was a lot of bitter people though.
They were
e-
they were better.
They were bitter about
Please
Tom,
explain.
with Tom leaving. They were bitter about Tom leaving the New England. But what they don't realize though, and my father-in-law said this perfectly last night. He said it perfectly. He said, "You can't be mad at the player, be mad at the team because they were the ones that could not keep him there
Yeah,
because they
they didn't.
refused to do what they needed to do."
They refused to get him more talent around him, and you see what happened. He went. The Tampa Bay was already talented, but he brought Gronkowski out of retirement.
He did.
He got AB to come play with him. I
Yep.
think I heard rumors that he let him stay at his Tom Brady let him stay at his house. Like, yo, we can keep you straight. Don't even worry about it. So,
Right. And
but
see,
you know,
I think Antonio Brown, he needed that too,
yeah.
because he kind of had a chip on his shoulder too going into the
Oh
season,
yeah.
because
Oh
he had
yeah.
a lot to prove that he could still play, and two, that he could still keep his cool
Yep.
and be
Conduct
mature.
himself professionally. Yeah.
He did. He did. He was excellent down there, and he even scored last night. So,
Yep.
you know, I'm really proud of Tom doing his thing. But I think what kind of is going under the rug though, because Tom kind of overshadows these two aspects.
Talk about it.
The first one, all right, Leonard Fournette last night was running like a grown ass man.
There you go.
Yo, I this man, I kid you not, bro. I never seen somebody just run over, like he was running violent last night. Dudes were afraid to tackle him, and I literally said this last week. I said, where are you going to find the weakness in Kansas City's defense is their corners, and he made the corners have to tackle him. And sure enough, that man was running through him, catching out of the backfield. I think he had over like 130 total yards.
Okay.
Yeah, like so
That's a good game.
he was doing good, man. But and the second thing too that I think that's going overlooked is Tampa's defense.
I was about to go there.
Whew, shout out to Todd Bowles, man, for really, like, because I think he was a good coach, but when he was in with the New York Jets, no one succeeds with the Jets. I hate to say that, but they don't.
It's like the Clippers.
Yeah,
Like,
yo,
oh yeah, yo.
oh my God.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah. We look, we know that. We know that they're the best regular
Nah,
season champions ever, man.
just saying, man. I'm just saying. Like,
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. But I
um,
I will tell you though, like, shout out to Devin White, the middle linebacker for them, because Ty Bowles, he said mentally Devin White reminds him of Ray Lewis. And that's a
okay.
big statement.
Yeah,
Big statement.
that's a grand compliment.
Yes. And watching that boy last night just run sideline to sideline, he whew, and he got the touch. No, he got an interception to really just wrap up the game. Because like
Eh,
there was a tip pass, and he
Can
had
I
good instincts, and he
can
was
I
there to
can I
take it off
can I touch on the third point that you didn't say?
for sure. Yeah,
They were actually, I believe, the first team to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium.
I think you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Now, with that being said, um, that adds a whole nother dynamic to the situation. Because most of the games, a few of them, in certain states, in certain places, will let their crowds be there. And if I'm not, if I don't know how sure I am, but I want to say most of them teams, when they had fans in the stands, won the game.
Oh yeah.
Most of them,
Well,
most of them.
right.
But I mean, that didn't happen with Green Bay, with Tampa Bay in the playoffs. But
Hmm.
at the same time, when you do have fans, even as an opposing team, as we just saw with LeBron the other week was down the Hawks last week,
Right.
they feed off that. They need that. We need that. You know what I'm saying? So, um, for them to be home, man, the way they were playing, you can tell that they were well rested, fully energized. I mean, man, they were just explosive on every side of the ball. Every side of the ball.
It were. See,
That'll do it.
mm, I'm telling you, man. I was surprised that they won by that big of a margin.
Me too.
But then again, I wasn't, because, and the reason why I say this is, I think Kansas City throughout this season, they played they played cocky. They played cocky. And
Fair
I'm not
enough.
and I'm not saying that they took Tom Brady lightly because no one takes Tom Brady lightly. But I
All
think
season they were kind of messy compared to the
yeah,
year before. Compared to the year before, that like that Super Bowl hangover.
yeah, exactly. I think there was like a lot of, hate to say it, like a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans that were living in the past. I just went there. Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
man, look, Cowboys ain't been. I'm gonna tell you something. Cowboys ain't been no good since before you were born, bro. You was
Now
born in
I
'96.
was still teardrop swimming, man.
Right. I was about to say they might have been there last year winning the championship. I remember.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy because, like you said, they had that Super Bowl hangover for most of the year, and they did well in the regular season, and they even stumped Tampa Bay in the regular season. But playoff Tom Brady is a bad man, and I saw a meme last night.
Ice
It
cold.
said he is,
Ice in his veins. Ice in his veins,
and
man.
they said it said when Tom Brady, when he leaned his head down like this on the sideline, they said you messed up, man, because he had like that alpha blood look in his eyes, man.
Now you say that he's over the past 20 years. You ain't lying. When he does that, boy, when he come back out, I mean, he coming out two guns up like.
Yeah, and I'd never seen something like and I didn't even recognize this either. I know the last Super Bowl that he lost, it was against Philly. I did not realize that man had over 500 passing yards.
With a bunch of mostly, I would say, forgive me, but this is the reason he left New England, pedestrian players. Like it would be like essentially, I have some kind of background and they pull me off because they gonna only pay me a couple 100,000 a year compared to 15, 20 million. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? And
right.
that formula worked. But now Tom probably just got tired. Like, hold up, for one, y'all ain't paying me big money,
No.
and y'all ain't giving me big players. I mean, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Right. And it could have been either or, man. But I think he was willing to take a pay cut to get more talent to come in. And he's always done that.
Yeah, and but do you know? I believe me and my I was dude I worked with. We was just talking about it last night. He has a 2 year deal for 50 million.
That's crazy, man.
Now
That's
I'm gonna
that's
go ahead and say this: Tom Brady is worth 50 million for 1 year as a quarterback, and this year proved that. So you saying the pay cut to take it? She would pay for him to only take 25 million. I guess you want to average it out a year. Is a sweet deal for fucking Tom Brady. Like
yes.
for Tom
Eh,
Brady.
But what's crazy though, bro? You got dudes like Carson Wentz,
Talk
and
about
you got Dak Prescott. No,
it. Get
like
into it.
look, Dak Prescott haven't got paid quite yet,
They could take
like he
they
wants
could
to.
take offense. No, they take offense. Just take offense. We're talking
Yeah,
about
I'm gonna
Tom Brady. He got 7
just
rings. We're talking about the GOAT. What
right.
come on.
I'm gonna just say like you got dudes out here like him, and I love Matt Stafford, but Matt Stafford is not Tom Brady. He's not.
Matt Stafford. You know what me and Matt Stafford have in common?
What's that?
The amount of playoff wins in the NFL.
Dang,
Zero.
dang,
And
dang.
I've never even played in the NFL. I've never even got. just, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Just speaking the facts. He had Megatron.
He did, man.
And
And
I know Detroit Lions ain't really been nothing even when they had Barry Sanders, but
Barry Sanders, they forced Barry Sanders into retirement
I mean
early.
you could call it that. I mean essentially because Barry was a humble man and he wasn't a boisterous fellow like just trade me or I'm leaving. He was a humble man.
He was, and they weren't going. He knew they weren't going to let go of him. He knew that. So, and the same thing with Megatron. Megatron, he retired way too early,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Because, whew, whew, oh my God. Didn't he get 2,000 yards 1 year, receiving yards?
I can't lie, say I know, but he probably did.
I
He
think
was
he
that
did.
good. He
He
was
was,
that damn good.
God, he was so good, man.
Yeah. He
Ugh.
was that damn good, man.
But, but overall, though, I would say from the Super Bowl, I was really happy just to see, Tom, 43 years old, going on 44, still playing out it. Just he's playing out of this world. And he had one throw last night where I think he could have hit. I think it was Mike Evans, like a 50-yard go route down the field. But he overthrew him by like 10 yards. But I think he wanted to send a message saying, like, hey,
I
I
still
can
got
still
him.
do it. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
still do it. Like he
Can I
purposely overthrew him.
now I want to add this little tidbit.
Go ahead.
This might not mean nothing to y'all, but I'm not saying I predicted anything. I just remember I want to say it was maybe week 5 or 6. And I was talking to a coworker of mine. He's a Redskins fan.
Mm-hmm.
God bless him. Um, I remember saying that I was talking to him like, man, I know it's still early in the season, man, but Tampa Bay, man, looking like they can do it. He was like, man, Reg, I don't know. It's still their first year. I'm like, yo, Tom Brady is a general. He went down there on purpose because they already had those weapons
Right.
and he knew what to do with them. And Bruce Arians from my understanding, is a quarterback coach.
He is. He is.
Um, Tom Brady put it in play, got Gronk. And I want to say this is right around the time Gronkowski came out of retirement. I'm like, no, yo, he making a power play. And okay, Bill Belichick is a great coach, but none of the great execution from a coach can be executed without the players. And Tom Brady got them 6 rings. They went to 10 Super Bowls or 8 whatever how many Super Bowls it was. They won 6 of them. He won the 7th. I mean, man, the proof is in the pudding.
He's goated, man. And I know people out here hate Tom Brady, but look,
You got to respect him
you
though.
gotta
You have to
respect him,
respect
man.
him.
You have to.
Like you got to.
No one's
I,
doing what he's doing.
God bless the dead, rest in power, Kobe Bryant. I was not a fan of him, but I respected him as a player.
Oh yeah, everybody. Look,
Killer, a
and
killer.
that's the thing that goes back to what I was saying about the casual fan and the fan that knows the game. You know talent when you see it, and you respect talent when you see it.
Yeah, you got to. Even if you don't like him personally, like I was a Knicks fan in the '90s,
Yeah.
right? Michael Jordan, Michael
Oh
Jordan. Once the '90s hit, it was over, and they just couldn't stop him.
no. Mm-mm.
And I can't say I didn't like him, but I was a Knicks fan. I was a Knicks fan, and I just wanted them.
Get over that
I
hump,
just
man.
yeah, and kind of when they did, they didn't at the same time. But regardless, he was out of the league by that. You know what I'm saying? But I just remember like fucking Michael Jordan. Like yo,
Telling you,
but
man.
a killer athlete, even
Yep.
in a team sport, will take you over above and beyond, regardless. Like it's just Tom Brady, killer. We
You
did that.
bring up the question. All right.
Okay,
So this is, and I just thought of this on the fly. Who is the better team? Who's the GOAT team sport? Is it Jordan or Tom?
I'm gonna have to say Tom because you have
Yeah.
more moving parts.
Mm,
You have more moving parts.
mm-hmm.
It takes. It's not like Tom Brady can single handedly score himself. Michael Jordan can do that
Oh, for
and
sure.
did that. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady needs his line to block food. He needs everybody to run their routes properly, to
Right.
getting their breaks and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's more moving parts to that. Even the defense, because he doesn't play defense. Michael Jordan plays defense, so
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
accountable on that behalf as well. But at the same, but yeah, even at the same time, it kind of made me feel like I don't know, maybe Michael Jordan because he does have to play defense. But no,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, oh, that's a very
See,
difficult question.
I
It's
know,
very
right?
difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I've been thinking about it though. You know,
Damn, I don't know.
Tom,
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
yeah, that's tough. It is a tough question. And
I kind of got to give it to Tom Brady. Like I said, it's just more moving parts. There are certain circumstances, especially defense, that he has no involvement in.
mm-hmm.
But I'm sure he gave them that whole team some kind of pep talk. He might have poured out all 6 of his rings the night before. Lord knows what he did. You know what I'm saying? But he's one hell of a leader.
He is, man. And I if people, like if you watching this on YouTube or just listening, I want you, either drop a comment or just tell me. I want you to tell me yourself, like, hey, who do you think is the better of the two? But for me, the reason why I'm going to give it to him, I'm gonna have to go with Tom Brady, and the reason why I say this is because kind of like you were saying, going back to the talent that he played, the level of talent that he had to play with.
Yeah.
Tom could make the grocery bag boy at Food Lion the best
Yeah.
receiver in the league. Like Wes
Yeah.
Welker, he made Wes Welker look like he was
Yeah.
out of this world.
Yeah.
And same thing, Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman is nothing special. He's a hard worker, and he happened to play with a fantastic quarterback at Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you just look at it, the two most talented players that this man has ever played with was Rob Gronkowski and Randy Moss. That's it.
And I was going to say, it's how ironic is it that the season that they had with Randy Moss,
I know.
how it ended.
No. But the New York Giants is they're the only ones that have beaten them twice though.
Yeah,
They've the kryptonite. I don't know what happened.
man.
Tom
Things
Coughlin. I
things happen how they supposed to happen. Sometimes ain't no rhyme or reason. It just is what it is. When somebody got your number, or they were just better that day, they was on their A game. I don't know. But yeah,
do
yeah.
do you think Eli Manning got too much love for for more than what he actually deserved because he beat the
No,
Patriots twice? You don't think so? Okay.
no, no.
So
He
why
he
you don't think so?
he. I don't. I think he doesn't get enough because he
Mm,
did that 2 times.
true,
Yeah,
true.
sometimes, yeah, yeah. If you want to look at his numbers, they may look average, I guess, compared to most quarterbacks, but he won 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots.
Ben's the Patriots, right? When they were at
I
their top.
mean, and regardless, won 2 Super Bowls. For anybody to even win one is a feat. For you to even get to the Super Bowl period
Right.
is, I don't know what the averages are, but I'm sure it's less than 10% of the people that ever played in the league. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just if
No,
you want to look at percentages. So the fact that I feel like he doesn't get enough love, but they carried him kind of bad because you know he's had some average or a little below average seasons, but he still brought y'all the New York Giants their last 2 Super Bowls over the New England Patriots, the last reign, the dynasty. You know what I'm saying?
especially that '07 Patriots, man. Like with Randy Moss in them, man.
That play he pulled off, and he about to
Oh
pull him
yeah,
down.
David
Yo,
Tyree. Yeah,
yo,
man.
catch the come on, son. Like, come on, son. Come on,
We ain't seen
that's
nothing like
iconic.
that since. Well, actually, the closest thing we have seen to a crazy catch in the Super Bowl is the one with Julian Edelman, where it looked like a drop. It definitely looked like an incomplete pass, but somehow this man put his hand out just
Right up
like
under
it
him.
was like
Yeah.
2 inches
Yep.
from hitting the
Yep.
ground. Man, that's
Yep.
Super Bowl is awesome though. I know a lot of people. It's so funny too because a lot of people only watch the Super Bowl or watch football in general maybe once a year, and that's usually the Super Bowl.
It's a party.
And it is right, right.
A
And a
party.
lot of people are probably like, man, this Tom Brady dude, like he just he's always here. Like, good God.
Hey, and when he comes to the party, that motherfucker shows out, man.
Bro, I didn't see this, and it just kind of hit me too, man. This man is seven. Yeah, he's 7-10. Not seven, no, 7. He's 7-3 in the Super Bowl, man. That's crazy. That's that's crazy to me. No one no one has done that. I can think. Like no one has ever done that.
No,
Like
not at all.
mm,
Not at all.
oh my God. It just
He
and it
this
just hit me. I don't know why it just hit me, but it's just like, good
it's
day, man.
it's cemented what everybody's been debating for all these years and even coming up to, but for what he really did this year, man, to go to a team in one year, leave a team. I'm sure he wanted to stay in New England and retire there.
Mm-hmm.
You
For
know what I
sure.
mean? But they didn't see eye to eye. Cool. He went where he wanted to go and took them and led them. I mean, I want to say in the what was it the NFC Championship after the game, the
Mm-hmm.
coach said like, man, this is because of him. Like he came here, you see what this one man made a difference in all of
It's
it. You know
true,
what I mean?
man. And no offense to Jameis Winston, but he was not that guy. They were like you kind of like you were saying, like they were one piece away, and I think they needed that piece at quarterback. And
I
Tom
mean,
Brady, he
bro, when it comes to these things, you talking about the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the World Series, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, and all of these things.
mm,
If you're talking tennis, Australia and the U.S. Open, the Wimbledon, and golf, the Masters, man, on the biggest stage, you know what I mean? The ones that are really with it, it's like what Steven Jackson said, they make love the pressure.
they do, they do, they do,
Tom
and
Brady, that's him.
he do, man. Like Tom
That's him.
Brady embraces that. And
Yeah,
I remember they mic'd him up, and he he, he was like, "Look," he said, "We're one f." Like he dropped the f bomb, and they of course they took off the mic and stuff, but
right.
this man was amped and just like he was ready, man. Like 'cause he said we're right here, guys. Like let's go get
Yeah,
it, man.
yeah.
And Tom,
He
he
know what it
just
is. He know
yeah,
what it is, man. He been here. This is his 10th time here. Oh, he knows how to win
he
this.
do.
He
He
knows how to
does, man.
win right at this game. He knows the pressures of it, all the pageantry. So congratulations to the Tampa Bay Bucks. I know when we did the joint, I want to say it was a week or two ago, 2 weeks
Yep.
ago maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I said, yeah, the Buccaneers, I'm not betting against Tom Brady. And I told my partner, I told you it was a Redskins fan, man. Buccaneers. It was like week 5, week 6. I was like, Buccaneers look like they can go to the Super Bowl. I
Yep.
even told him, I said, because he was talking, I was telling him he was the status when the Steelers was on that tab. Like it got to like week 9 or something. Steelers was on that tab. I said, man, and he love his team, the Redskins, but he talk about them bad. And I said, y'all gonna be the ones to beat them. Y'all playing? He's like, yeah. I said, y'all gonna beat them. Man, I said, man, that's how it works. When a team is on that kind of tab, I said, bro, there's only been one team that went undefeated that won the Super Bowl. That was in '72. I didn't get to
Yeah.
see it. I played with them on Madden back in the '90s, but
Right.
like that's the way these things work. They take these teams that they don't deem as good. I ain't gonna say they take them for granted, but they probably do. Like, oh yeah, we get kind of half step, and they coming out like, oh y'all undefeated. We about to spoil all that shit, and
Right.
they do every time. This shit happens so often. Like I've seen it so many times. That's why I told them that, and I called them after that. Like, you remember I told you? They was like, yeah, you told me. I was like, I ain't trying to be psychic. I said, but these are how these things work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It'd be the let's say I don't know. Let's say we talking NBA and a team on a 20-game win streak. It'd be the most bum team in the league. Sneak them, snuff y'all ass.
And and it's because a lot of those players go in there the nonchalant, thinking, "Oh, we're gonna run over these dudes,"
Yeah,
and smack in the mouth, man.
yeah.
And shout out to a DMV native, Chase Young balled out in that game, yo, against the Steelers.
Okay,
He
yeah.
he balled out in that game. Good grief, man. But I, you know, can they repeat next year? That's gonna be the big question. I think after all the celebration, all that is
I
over
say
with.
no.
I know. I don't think it's gonna be tough, man.
It
It's
is
gonna
it
be
is so
tough.
difficult to repeat in the NFL and in any sport. It is so difficult. I mean, you look at the numbers of teams that have repeated. It is few and far between. It is
But see,
it's it,
you know, it is difficult. But the last man to do that was the man that won last night.
Well, if they follow, hold up, check this out.
Okay.
Fair enough. I'm sure he'll say something to them beginning of spring training or whatever the hell it not spring training.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? When they go to
I
the
think spring camp or whatever,
camp
or
or whatever, when they go to
yeah,
training
mini
camp,
camp or whatever. Yeah.
Um, and so you start having these talks with them, whether they have a preseason or not, because they didn't have one this year because of
Right.
all this. But if they follow his lead again, it's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm be honest with you. I know a good portion of them brothers, at least I'm gonna say 30% still gonna have a Super Bowl hangover. I'm gonna just keep it real. And
Yeah.
hopefully they'll get up out their system at some point. But if they listen to Tom Brady, it is absolutely possible.
Yes. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like Tom, like you just watched last night. Even last night, there was a video. I forgot who's the player. It might be LaShawn McCoy or some. I'm not sure, but they posted a video, and everybody was in there celebrating, and Tom was over there packing up his bag. Just like because he's been there before. Like Tom, Tom is like you just those players who have multiple rings, right? Who's
He's a
been there?
killer, brother.
Yes.
He is a killer. I came here to assassinate my opponent. I did it. I'm gonna celebrate my own fashion. I know all this. Okay, cool. He's a professional.
He is, man.
He is a
And
professional assassin, a killer.
he's the best damn quarterback out there, man. And
Yeah,
to ever play. To
yeah.
ever play.
Everybody has to say that now.
Well,
Like,
yes. He won with a different team and single-handedly turned out franchise around, did a complete 180.
in
And
1 year, one
yes,
year.
that's all it took. So hey, shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like you guys did it. You did everything. You played a perfect game last night. Honestly. Like you
Yeah,
played a real perfect game. But so you and I, we like moving on. We talked last week about how, we want to start doing like album reviews and,
okay.
we're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
this going in the future. So, the album that we chose to do today, because I know I keep bringing it up, and I think some of you need to hear a different opinion other than mine. Is for El Capo is for Jim Jones this I think it was in December, in like early
Yeah,
December when
2000.
it dropped.
No, was it December
It was
or
in
was it? It
December or
was
November. One of those.
of 2019.
No, 2020. It was last year. Mhm.
Time out, brother. Hold up, time. Are you sure?
I'm sure. Yeah, I got the album. Hold on, let me make sure.
I thought it was about August September
Mm.
of 2019. Am I tripping?
So I see 2020 right here. I can
All right,
check.
I might be tripping. I
Let
might
me
be
make
bugging.
sure. Hold on. Let
I
me
thought
let
it,
me.
I thought it, I thought it came out in
Oh, all
2019.
right. So no. Okay. So he dropped his deluxe version in 2020, and he dropped the 2019, the regular one in 2019. So you were right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you
All
were
right,
right.
I was about to say.
Yep.
Maybe I didn't hear the deluxe version.
Nah. Yeah.
Forgive
You
me.
straight. No, you good. No.
Okay.
So yeah, he this out like I was getting my inspection done today, for my truck, and I was just sitting there just listening to this album, and the first time I heard it, I was just like, all right, like this, it was beautiful art, just just beautiful, um, piece of work and body of work.
Right.
But when I listened to it this today, for some reason, like it just hit me like this man was telling stories, and every single song on this soundtrack, well, not soundtrack, like the album was just after every single track is another story that he went through, and he made, and I know his deluxe edition, he had, like Fat Joe on there, and he had
Yeah, I didn't hear. See, I didn't hear the deluxe version.
Yeah, like he
Damn.
he had one on there for it was one called New York City,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
yeah, that one
Guys, I don't know
he
what the sample is, but it's love. Yeah,
yeah man, like
it's
he
beautiful.
whew, him
Now,
him and Fat Joe just
if I'm not mistaken, I believe it is exclusively done by the Heat Makers, the
yes it
producer.
was it was
Um, they the ones that did like Dipset Anthem, a whole bunch of
hmm
Dipset production in the early 2000s. So it was exclusively done with them. You know what I'm saying?
right
But it wasn't the production on it. See, to me, this is the most one of the most. You know what? I would jump on here and say, forget it. The most important part about a wonderful album is the production.
yes
Because beats that really immaculate, it don't matter what you say on it. You could say toenails, eyelashes, and toilet tissue. And if you just put it together with that flow with the beat, it's gonna
it's
go.
gonna be a hit
But
right
the production on here is A1. I mean, if he didn't rap on it and they just played the instrumentals, yo, it's still fire.
right right
My
and
favorite track is the joint with him and Rick Ross. I can't think of the
oh
name of
my
it right
I think it's
now.
State of the Union
Yeah,
I believe
that is the name of it. I
hmm
forgive me. I didn't write down the track list. I
no
didn't
you
write
good
it
I got
down.
it
But that's my favorite one personally. To as of today, like my favorites change from day to day depending upon my
nah
my mood. You know what I'm saying?
right yeah he Jim I would say, because obviously, kind of like we were saying last time we talked, a lot of these rappers out here right now, the ones that back in maybe like all the way through the '90s, even to like early 2000s, a lot of them were at their peak at that time. But now you got all the younger guys, and like you were saying, there's a lot of rappers out here now that are kind of overshadowing the
Because they're younger. Because hip hop is a
yeah,
young person's sport, right?
yep,
So somebody of Jim Jones' age is reaches to my, I'm gonna say be me personally. I said I'm almost 40, reaches to my demographic.
right,
But with the music that he has, someone of your age, you know what I mean, can still appreciate it.
hmm
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say Jim Jones is the most lyrical person. No,
nah, right,
but
right,
what he says, he pulls sauce on that shit. Like we were talking about swagger and you know what I mean.
yeah.
In Baltimore, we call it dragging. Like the way he drag on the track, or the way he do his thing, it sounds good. And that's what makes hit records when it just sound good. Sometimes you don't have to be lyrical; it just has to sound good. And with the production that they got on that whole album, man, it's incredible. I haven't listened to all of Jim Jones' albums, but I'm gonna say that's possibly or probably his best. I don't know because
You're right.
I might have missed one or two. You know what I'm saying?
hmm I know for like for me, that Jim, I think he was always kind of he know in Dipset,
Overshadowed. He was
he was
overshadowed.
overshadowed, right? Because Cam is Cam, like Cam is one of the best. I think like lyrically, he's up there. He's up there. I don't know if he's in the top five, but he is up there.
I can't give him top five. I
Right.
can't
I
do it.
can't. Right. Right. But he is though. I would say like his lyricism is raw. Is raw to the point where it's like, man, yo, this dude like he spits like that. But then you got
He got like
Joel
simple
Santana.
to me, he got simple intelligence. The best rapper out of the crew. I don't know if you was about to say this. To me, is Joel.
Yeah.
He's actually best rapper. But to me, Cameron has like simple intelligence. Like it come off simple, but you be like, hold on. What he really say?
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. You gotta like rewind that joint back to make it be like, what? Like,
Yeah, it's simple
but
intelligence.
Joel's everyone loves Joel Santana.
And
And
I'm sure if he was home when he recorded this, he'd have been on that.
yeah,
But he
you
was
know
still
that.
in
You
jail at that
know it.
moment in time.
You know what though? he I think, yeah, Jim, because Jim on the deluxe, I'm not sure on the regular one, but on I know on the deluxe one, he had for his first song, Joel Santana was he
Oh,
was on that song.
see, I see. Like I said, I didn't get to check out the deluxe. So,
Yeah,
dang.
he and and I think that's part of the reason why he made an a deluxe edition, just because he wanted to get Joel's in there, man, because
Makes sense. Makes
he
sense.
just whew.
And I'm even say it makes sense to do a deluxe version when you can add new songs, especially in this day and age of streaming. Because it's not quite a whole new project, but it's new work. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
right,
I added some.
right.
So if you didn't get the first one, the first regular one, now I added some other little tidbits and some other little things that wasn't on there before. Cop this or listen to these other songs. You know what I'm saying? So they get their money up in a whole nother kind of way. It's like
Oh yes.
it's like a re-grand opening.
Hmm.
Like somebody do a grand opening, they do a re-grand opening.
And everybody just like I think this time around it got the attention I think it actually deserved, because Jim, like even on just like the last episode that I just recorded, I remember I said something about Jim Jones, and they was like, "Man, yo, I haven't listened to Jim Jones since he came out with Ballin'," and I'm just like, "Bruh," I was like, I said,
That
"Don't
was
take that man for
2006, cuz.
right." I said, "Don't take him for granted, dude," because I'm telling you, I said, once this dude is gone, because one day he's gonna leave this earth. One day when
Yeah.
he's gone, do not like y'all gonna be like, man, yo, like we should have gave that man his flowers while he was still here. I'm telling you, because
You,
Jim, whew,
you know why I think people do that though? I'm
what's
gonna
up?
go ahead. This reminds me of a conversation I had with somebody the other day. Sometimes we outgrow artists.
Yeah,
And this is the difficulty as being an artist in the music business. Like I was a big Redman fan,
yep.
like early on, from his first album, what's it called? What the album to the second one was called There's a Dark Side and the Doc's the
Mm-hmm.
Name. Then he did the joint with Method Man and all that. After he did the Blackout album with Method Man, I outgrew him. He didn't change really nothing, but I outgrew him for whatever reason I did as a fan. But
Right.
he's still dope. I love his personality. I love to watch interview. You know what I mean? But sometimes we just outgrow. You know what I'm saying? It's just a weird kind of thing. Like wherever we're at in life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or at that moment in time, that's that space we were in. Like this to me, this is what makes people say certain albums are classic albums to them. Because at that space and time in life, this is probably was the soundtrack of your life that year, that summer, that winter, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You right. Right. Because you got some albums they can like just be constantly on repeat, and then you got the other spectrum of it, like you were just saying, you can have that seasonal, almost like that kind of like that seasonal song for you. Because I know for me, when I graduated, I remember the one song I had playing, yo, I think it was "Nigga We Made It" from
Yeah,
yeah, you remember
Drake
that?
and Soldier Boy.
Yeah, Drake and Soldier Boy. I had,
Yeah,
man, that was
yeah,
that was my anthem that year, because I just
yeah.
like I knew I was one of I really, because my dad, I'm not sure if any of my parents went to their graduation. I'm not sure, but I just remember being able to say I graduated, and I
Right.
made it, and
Yeah,
that I took pride in that, man. But
yeah,
you know, I think Jim, he had that hit song back,
yeah,
back in mid 2000s, but
yeah.
he he's better than just one song. He's not a one hit wonder,
Absolutely.
man. He's
Yes,
not
I
a
know,
one hit
not at
wonder.
all. It, not at all. And even it's the funny thing about one hit wonders. You think about how many people, even a one hit wonder is a success. Like people try to kind of clown folks about being a one hit wonder, but the sheer number of people that try their hand at making music never get a hit.
Yep. Yep.
So for you to even get one, let alone have a full career, is astonishing. But
Hmm.
it takes reinventing, rebranding, you know, updating yourself with the time. Sometimes you can just still stay in your own lane because to me, listening to this album, Jim Jones is still staying in his own lane. He did what he always did. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just got some dope production. Like
It's like
that
that New
was it.
York sound. Hmm.
That was
Yep.
it. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And
And
this makes me. I know we're gonna continue on this, but I get to. I'm gonna ask you something in a minute once we you know move on.
nah, yeah, no. So no, like really just to kind of like at least like for this aspect that we're talking about with Jim being more than just a one hit wonder. You I think like some people like sure you might outgrow the artist, but kind of like we were saying for like good for players like giving credit where it's due.
Right,
Jim is one of those people where you're not gonna put him in the top 5 or top 10 rappers of all time,
right,
but
right.
he definitely is one of the people that paved the way for the guys that we see today, like the Baby and Lil
Yeah.
Baby and all these guys like that, NBA YoungBoy and all them, man. But you got it, like, and I'm sure some of
And
these
the baby
dudes,
is dope. I
he
do like
is
all the people you name. I like NBA YoungBoy. The baby is fire. If I know, I will say this. I know people talked about it. If him and Megan Thee Stallion actually made a joint album, even an EP, just like 5 songs, yeah, that would be crazy. Because every time they get together, home run, grand slam, Super Bowl win.
yeah, exactly, because they those two they just
And then now, like because of right now, yeah, they and little baby nice, but me personally, just for my ear, he don't do it for me. But I know he nice.
right.
You know what I mean?
He
That song he got, what's the song he came out during the pandemic and all the protests?
oh
It's making it black and white. That
oh
was that
man.
was deep, yo. That song
I
was deep. I don't
he
remember the
yeah
name of it.
he put
Song
his
was
heart
deep.
and soul into that song, man.
That was
Because I know
deep,
you're
yo.
talking about,
That song was real. Can't remember the name. I can't remember the title track,
man.
but it was deep. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he that's right, and I think it's crazy because a lot
Socially
of
conscious,
he
socially
right
conscious messages. He pulled that out, and I can't say nobody thought about it, but not too many people do it, and not too many times when it's done, it's displayed commercially. It's played on the radio. You know what I mean? So you know, shout out to I think he with Quality Control. Shout out to them for making sure that that message got out to the world
yes, yes, because
and not swept
like
under the rug.
right because that song he he knew the world needed that because at the like and it's still going on to this very day.
I was
Like
going to
it's gonna
go
be
on
a
forever
long
in America.
right,
It's
right.
part of America.
It's a long road to justice, man. But I think because obviously back in like the 80s and 90s, you had a lot of like political hip hop
Talk
going
about
on
it.
at the
Yeah,
time, man.
socially
And
conscious political hip hop. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
you had a lot going on, and I think I know Paris was a big one at that time where he because I
Hold
think
up,
he
who?
was Paris. You remember Paris? He was like a black Panther, I think. I'm not sure if he was or
You
not,
got me.
but
You got me. I don't know what the
yeah,
hell we talking about right now,
bro,
bro.
Paris, yeah. Now Paris,
He
you
was a
got
solo artist.
yeah, he was a solo artist, man, and he put
How did I
he
miss this?
he was making
I'm
people feel uncomfortable, man.
I'm judging myself right now. Like, how did I miss this? Where was I at?
Because I went back, I was watching was it like the Hip Hop Evolution on the Netflix series? I was watching that,
Yeah,
and I think like the first or second season they was talking about how like at that time
I
you had
saw
like
it.
a lot of political hip hop going on and social
Yeah,
conscience, and Paris was one of those guys that was doing that, and he wasn't like huge, but his music though a lot of people I think he might have been a West Coast cat. I'm not sure. I can't
I,
remember.
brother. I saw what you talking about the evolution hip hop. I'm bugging myself right now because back then the pickings was so few and far between. You damn near knew who everybody was. So I'm like, who are you talking about right now? I
Right,
don't
yeah.
know. You got me. Like,
I
okay, I'm
yeah.
listening. Though, forgive me. I didn't mean
No,
to
no,
interrupt.
no. You good, man. But yeah, he was one of the people that just kind of like stuck out at that time, man. But like now, you got guys like obviously you got Lil Baby do what he did, and Killer Mike. He's gonna be Killer Mike. He's
Oh,
gonna
come
say
on, man.
whatever he want to say.
Yeah,
He doesn't care about your feelings. Like he doesn't care about making you feel comfortable. He's puts the message out there, and I can't. What's the white dude with him from Run the Jewels? What's his name? Um. Oh my god.
I can't think of his name either. I know what you're talking about.
I
I know
can't think.
exactly what you're talking
But he like him. Those two together gotta be one
about.
of the
Yeah,
most like underrated. Like they one of the most underrated like hip hop duos I think out there, man. Because those two their album I listened to
it's
it this over the
it's one
summer.
hell of a dynamic. It is. You know what? It's a perfect marriage.
Yeah, it
It
is.
really is because I believe I can't remember the white boy name.
I
I
know,
know what you're
man.
talking about, but I believe he does the production.
I think you're right.
I believe he does, from my understanding. I've heard some of Run the Jewels. I ain't heard all their stuff, so I'm not going to eat from it. But together, from what I've heard, it is the perfect marriage. Like, and that's why it works because the duality of a white boy from New York, a country black man from down south,
Matched them.
and they are keeping it hip hop. They ain't trying to be radio, they ain't trying to be commercial, and even to your point of Killer Mike, his platform is he takes it further than music. Did you see his shit on Netflix?
Oh yeah,
What's it
absolutely.
called?
Well, yeah, it's like Power. Not
Oh, it's a
Trigger Warning.
series. Yeah,
hmm
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
He just it's like a social experiment,
and he
but
and he thinks outside the
it's
box
brilliant.
so
Yeah,
much outside. Because I remember like the whole thing with like with bringing the Bloods and the Crips together to like make the sodas and stuff, man. Like
yep.
that was crazy. And I remember when they went to go sell the sodas, they were right next to each other, and you had some of the white women going by there. They was so scared. They was like,
Yeah,
I don't know which
yeah.
one to go to.
I,
I
I,
don't want.
I, I thought the illest part was when he did the church thing. I thought that was the illest shit
Oh
in the
yeah,
world. Like,
he and see.
because people with religion, oh my God, people will lose their mind. That's what the politics, and I was taught that politics and religion create wars.
Right.
The way he went with the religion, I'm like, yo, you want to do this? You sure? Like,
And see,
in a strip club.
and I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Like for me, like I am a Christian, but I want to say this too because I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole too deep.
Yeah, I'm not.
But
I'm not gonna go there with you. I'm just tell you
no,
that right now.
no,
I'm
no,
not even
no,
gonna
you
do
good.
it.
But I think a lot of Christians out here, like the judgmental aspects of like the saying goes, when you point at somebody, you got three fingers pointing back at you. We are
Yeah,
no different than the people that because I know like and I'm not sure if you're like if you follow like if you're a Christian or not, but if you're not,
oh, brother.
the
Oh, brother. I'm gonna tell you straight like this, brother. I have
good.
read the Bible back and forth as many fingers I got on this hand, maybe half as I got on. I don't know, but
Right,
I know he who he without sin cast the first stone. You did
right, right, and that's what I'm saying.
straight
Like
like that.
I'm not going to sit here and and preach at people, but I do just want to say this though, like Chris, we do got to do better. I would say because and this I know like with everything for people who think differently than us, we need to we don't have to agree with everything that person does say, but let's just remember at the end of the day, both of us are sinners, and we all fall short at the glory of God, and that's the way I'm gonna leave it as that. All right,
There you go.
but but hey, um, kind of like just moving on though. I want like you. I know you say you had a question though, because going like with the Jim Jones, you
I
said
got I got two questions for you.
All
'Cause
right,
I
go
just
ahead, man.
I had one since the first episode. I didn't ask you because I'm on your show, so I ain't want
Okay,
to
yeah,
start.
go ahead,
And
man.
what inspired you to create the Laced Up podcast?
What inspired me to create the Laced Up podcast? So, for me, you know, I really love listening to podcasts, and I
Okay,
was I was one of those guys that was a podcast junkie saying like, "Hey, yo, have you heard this podcast? Have you heard like all the Smoke podcasts and the Joe Rogan podcast? That those were the two that hooked me in because Joe
okay,
Rogan, he's another cat that he brings on a like a wide variety of
absolutely.
of guesses. You know, like Killer Mike, Mike Tyson. He might even bring on Roseanne. Like he's bring on all types of like people on there, man. And political. Yeah, he had Bernie Sanders on there, I think, for one episode. But
There's
like
no
he
rhyme or
just
reason to it. Just
right.
somebody interesting that people want to hear talk. That's what
Yes.
that's all this shit come down to.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, all right, like, let me listen to this, man. And and of course, I always told my wife, I said, hey, I said, babe, I want to do a podcast, man. Like, and I kept on talking about like, yo, I really want to do this podcast, and each time I kept saying it, I kept on edging closer and closer, and then finally, I saw one of my boys that went to school with at Liberty. They was talking about how they had their own podcast. Like, shout out to Josh Smith and the boys over there at the Go Podcast, but
Shout out to them.
they
Yeah.
yeah, man, like they doing something good over
Sometimes
there
it takes
too.
inspiration to make you start.
He's actually from Maryland himself.
Okay, which
You
part?
know, he I want to say Annapolis. I want to say
Annapolis. Okay,
Annapolis. Yeah.
okay,
So but yeah, like I saw the platform that they were using. It said Anchor, and I was like, okay. So I went on there and I actually looked up what Anchor was all about, and it was free. And I said, all right, if I can record a podcast for free and they do the editing and all that stuff for me, I said, why not? Like I'll be a fool
right,
not to do it. So I just
right.
jumped, I bit the bullet, and hey, this is where this is the 15th episode, I believe now.
Okay,
You
would you
know,
start late?
so
You started last year.
so what's crazy, man? I started last year in April, and then
Okay.
I was, I took a break off from there because I wasn't getting the listeners like I wanted to,
Oh,
and
brother,
I got discouraged.
it takes time.
Right.
This takes time. Um, and it just sometimes, in my opinion, from like I said, I pretty much just only do the YouTube. That's all I do.
For sure.
Um, it just takes time, and you have to reach out to whoever you can. Some people, man, I reach out to the biggest whoever I can that I think that I can actually connect with, and whether I get a response or not, then cool. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it all adds up, and it's like anything. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it, and hopefully and willingly, you know what I mean. The following will come. You
Yep.
know what I mean. Overnight success I'm gonna say comes with a price, with a cost.
Yeah.
People that you see blow up overnight, they got a lot of money behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And they blow up overnight because they had enough money behind them to put it in everybody's face, and
Right.
enough people's face where enough people start to listen. But
Yep.
when you doing it, how you doing it, I was even say how I do it. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's a brick by brick situation.
Yeah. Yep.
You know
And
what I'm
honestly,
saying?
I take pride in that too now because
Yep.
something it kind of clicked with me. I said, you know, you're not gonna start out on top. No one starts out on top like that, man. And because I was just thinking about
Unless you got that, bro. Unless you got that big money behind you, then you gonna damn near start off on top. Unless you got
right,
some kind of notoriety in the name.
exactly,
This is
exactly.
what I've recognized about it.
And I'm not, and I was once discouraged, but then once that kind of clicked with me, I just kept on going, and going. And really, like, I want to give a shout out to my wife too, because last month I remember I started out at like only a little bit over 100 some plays total. And then just through the month of January to leading up to February, I got 100 plays in that whole month. And so it is growing. And I think part like a lot of that has to do with what she's doing too behind the scenes. And I want to give a shout out to her because she's been huge in this process, man. Because I think, like, honestly, like, without her, I'm not sure, like, if this you and I would be even possible, man. So like, yeah, I want to give a shout out to my wife Rachel, man. Like, babe, you the best. Keep doing your
Big
thing.
up, big up to the wife.
Yeah, man.
It takes people to share.
Yep.
From what I found, it takes people to share. A couple people that told me they done shared it, and where I work at, man, I'm in work one day and I'm walking through the building and the dude like, hey yo, why you ain't tell me you had a had a YouTube, you dig, and you talking to such and such, like, yo, why you ain't say nothing to us? I'm like, cause I'm at work. I ain't,
Right, right. And I just
but
started a new job too.
but when people sharing, what I mean, that's a
Hmm.
part of it as well. And I will even say this: advertisement in whichever way, in shape, and form, and fashion that you can afford to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? That does help because McDonald's, even though we all know who McDonald's are, you still see a McDonald's commercial every day if you cut on your TV. They probably don't even have to advertise anymore, but they
Right.
still do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so whichever you can afford to hopefully try to advertise, you know what I mean? Um, and I know we working man. I'm a working man myself, so I
Right.
ain't like I got hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever
Yeah.
to pour into. No, I ain't got that, cuz I ain't gonna front about it. You know what I mean? But
Right.
okay, now here's the second question I had
Go
for you.
ahead.
Have you ever heard the Outcast album Aquemini?
I can't say that I have. Mm.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
I'm 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 gonna jump on here. I'm gonna put this battery in your back because I was how do I say that? Well, I'm gonna keep it this simple. I want to have you on my YouTube channel as well to help
Word. Okay.
help your exposure as best I can with your podcast. But I was like, I want him to hear something I know he has never listened to
Okay.
that I know he would enjoy. Now, my other question behind me even saying to you Aquemini, regardless, you a hip hop head, you gonna love Aquemini.
For sure.
Um, do you like more street music or just hip hop in general? It don't really matter whether it's street or not.
You know,
Because this El Capo album is a street album. Like this
right.
is some street hip hop shit. Like
I,
this is
I
some gangster shit for real. He talking.
yes, that's see, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's what draws me into
But it's
guys like Benny the Butcher and
okay,
Davies, guys like that,
okay.
because and I don't know, like maybe even Nip too though, because I think that's
I'm,
what
I'm,
drew
I'm,
me.
I'm yeah, but I'm asking you that because if you like that gangster shit for real,
Okay.
I got a whole nother album for you instead of Aquemini.
Oh shit. Okay. What's up?
Have you ever heard Tupac's Machiavelli, the Don Illuminati 7-Day Theory?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
all right. And
Yes.
that ain't really too much gangster. But I
Right.
know you. I'm gonna jump on here and say you told me your birthday was the other whatever you turned 25. So that means you was born in '96, correct?
I was. Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to think of another album that came out in '96. I'm trying to think of one that came out your birth year. That's a dope album. You ever heard Nas's It Was Written?
So you know what? As big of a Nas fan as I haven't, man.
Okay.
No.
You know what? Maybe we should do that instead of a. I know I said Aquemini because I just know that's just a dope album. That's just
Yeah.
to me that could that's in my top 5 depending upon how I feel a day.
Okay.
But I wanna I want to pull you into something you've never heard
Okay.
and get your feel on it. You know what I'm saying? Especially in your birth year. You
See,
dig?
I appreciate that because I saw one post you had too on your IG. You was talking. I think it was in '98. Like '98 was a bit. I did not realize all those albums came out
Brother,
in '98. Man.
can I speak on it?
Yes, go
Can I
ahead. You
speak about
know it.
98?
You know it.
First things first. I'm gonna say first things first. This is the year that No Limit Records exploded.
Mm.
They dropped like 25, 26 albums in one year. That's pretty much an album every other week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Master P,
God.
genius. You know what I mean?
Whew.
Now, saying all that to say, in 1995, hip hop lost Easy E. In 96, they lost Tupac. 97, they lost Big. So
Mhm.
98 was like a recovery year. But you had, what's this album? Lauryn Hill, she dropped her album.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
DMX dropped his debut album. The Equimini Outcast album, I'm telling you. Big Pun's debut album. Nori's
Yo,
the
Nori.
NORE album. What else came out in '98? Hold on. There's so many more. Some might be escaping me right now. Jay-Z? No, Jay-Z. Did Jay-Z come out with an album that year? Hold up. I can't remember. But it was an explosive year for hip hop.
Right.
East Coast, West Coast, down south. 98, to me, is most possibly the greatest year of hip hop album.
Mm.
Next to 88, as
Okay.
far as music. Because some of the albums that was out, some of the music that was out in '88 wasn't. It was either released before or after, but the music was out. Like Eric B, Rakim, NWA. You had EPMD. You had Big Daddy Kane. But '98, the album releases. Oh man, it was incredible. Um, it was like a real recovery year. Like I said, with them three deaths that happened, that were very traumatic. You know
Right.
what I'm saying,
Right.
to the culture. Um, so I want to get you to listen to something you never listened to before.
And you know what? I appreciate that. And I did. Um, who was his name? Was it Nick Mack or what was his? You told me to listen to some. Oh my
Nick
God,
Grant.
Nick
Nick
Grant.
Grant.
Right. That's who it was. Yeah, Nick.
Lyricism. I mean, I'll be honest, some of his music is great, some of it is so, just me being a fan, but as far as him being an MC, oh man, he's a bad motherfucker.
Hey,
There's no
I
other way for me to
appreciate
say
you.
it.
I appreciate you for for blessing me with that because that was, whew,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was oh my
it's
gosh,
refreshing.
man.
It's
I
refreshing to hear.
appreciate that.
Um, so those are my two questions for you. So I don't know. We hopefully we set up a date, whatever, get you to listen to It Was Written. Because I'm agree on this. You're a Nas fan. If you
Yes.
never heard It Was Written, oh man.
So
I mean, Illmatic and Stillmatic are two of my favorite Nas albums. But It Was Written is incredible as well. That's like
okay.
when he elevated beyond just the street. Like, okay, you can see he really on that. He on some how do I say this? Some what do you call itself? Esco.
Oh
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Escobar, the Escobar
Escobar.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when that came into play. Yeah,
See, yeah, oh man.
that was right before the Firm album. Like that's what introduced the Firm. He had the song Affirmative Action with him, Foxy Brown, and Cole Mega. Um, Cold Blooded. You know what I mean?
Since we're talking about a little bit of street, because I'm gonna wrap this up in a little bit, but I want to ask you this question: what are your top 5 hood movies of all time,
Hood movies all time. Mm.
or even your
I,
well, or your top 3
I'm
really?
okay. Um, Now we're talking about black cinema, correct?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, because I can deem some to me some white shit is like that's some hood shit, but okay. Um,
Like Four Brothers.
this this gonna sound crazy. Y'all, some of y'all might not think this is hood, but this is hood to me. My number one is Friday.
It is. It is.
It
It
ain't
is.
it ain't gangster. It's funny, but it got touches of just regular real in the hood shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, number two, I'm it's a toss up in my head right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna just pick one. Number
Okay.
two, I'm gonna say Minister Society. Number three, I'm gonna give it to Belly.
Yo,
Belly.
Belly.
Oh, I got better fact. Belly right here. There's Belly right here. You see that? Yeah, the white joint. Yeah,
Yeah,
Belly.
man.
Um, number four, New Jack City.
New Jackson. Yep. Yep.
Number five, Paid in Full.
Paid in full. Yep.
I was about to say Boys in the Hood, but no, Paid in Full because it's based off a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, true stories, anything based off a true story, is the greatest stories you can ever come across
Absolutely.
because it's based even if whatever levels of fiction is based off of reality. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my top five. I just right now we just had to pull them off. But yeah, Friday number one because Friday cold classic
That is, man. It always is because even every Friday that movie is always on at
hey
9 o'clock on Friday.
man, hey
Every
hey
single time.
hey John, I know you don't get high. I know this,
Okay. Okay.
but it's Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got shit to do.
This,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
like
I'm look. I'm
I've
telling
got
you,
fired. I've got fired on my day off before. That's real shit.
mm,
I'm like,
yo,
that's real Friday. I got fired on my day off before. I felt that movie. Like, nigga, they fired me on my day off. I was off today.
man. That see, I'm telling you though that, like you said though, or not, like to go back like before you even asked me, like you said, like talking about just black movies. The culture of these movies, it just resonates so deep into black culture, man. And then I think like Ice Cube for Friday, that will forever,
Yeah.
and I mean ever, forever, ever, ever, will be played constantly. Like no matter the time, no matter the day, like it will always.
And he did the genius thing and made one of them a Christmas movie.
Yep.
How
Yep.
incredibly genius is that?
He knew what he was doing. He knew what he
Yeah.
was doing.
Okay. We talking about Ice Cube. I posted something on my IG and read an article about Ice Cube was gonna have the contract with Black America,
I did see that.
and
Yes. Okay.
when they were all campaigning for about the election, people was trying to drag Ice Cube. He's selling out because Trump people, whatever. Ice Cube been about his people since day one.
He has. Yep.
He's super intelligent. He's so intelligent. He left NWA. Like so, for
He
y'all to
saw
even
it before
try this,
everybody else
man,
did.
is like for y'all to even try this, man. Y'all must not know y'all history. And
Right.
like to me, like you must not know your history on him. Like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I know he's had some missteps, but he's um he's super intelligent.
He
So
is.
don't discredit him and act like just because somebody else tried to say, oh yeah, man, look,
See,
he know
I
what the
want
fuck
to.
he doing. He
Right.
know what he
And I.
doing. As you saying to the part of he making a Friday about Christmas. He know what he
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Hate. I hate. And I know hate is a strong word, but I that's how I really feel about it. I hate when people always, instead of reading the facts and doing your history and looking back, they take the headlines for what it is.
doing. Yep.
And just because, whoever the top celebrity is saying what they want to say about somebody else, they want to critique how the way somebody is doing something. They want to take that person, like they take what that person say as gold and
Yeah.
they don't care, man. Like,
Do your due diligence, do your research. You know what I mean?
right?
Do your due diligence and do your research because as you saying that headline is just a headline. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You see videos and whatever people take stuff out of context. You got to hear the whole conversation, and Lord knows what was recorded or what was said before it was recorded.
right. And those headlines too can be with, and it may be true of what they said, but they're leaving out 99.9% of the other whole conversation that before that, leading up to that statement. And so you don't know what the context is behind what the person is trying to say. Like, just do it, man. Don't be lazy. Just do it. Just look for yourself, man. Like, come on, bro. Like,
Right.
it's simple as that. But
Yeah.
you know, like, hey, I appreciate you coming on, man, and doing this again because this, like I said, this means a lot to me, man. Because you,
Same here, bro. Like I said, we're gonna be in touch. We gonna get you listen to that. It was written album,
oh
and
yeah,
we gonna talk about it on my platform. You did.
bet, bet. All right, see, look, so you guys, look, we got a little crossover going up, coming up in the near future, man. So you guys be on the lookout for that, and I'm sure we're gonna see more. We're gonna see more hip hop's biggest fan here on the Lace Up podcast too, as well. So
I'm with
uh,
it.
all right,
Believe
so
that.
look, you heard it,
You
man.
did. We gonna do
You
that. Yeah.
you heard. So look, if you listening on YouTube, make sure that you leave a like and you subscribe. And if you listening on Apple, make sure leave a review and help us make the podcast grow, man. Because without you, none of this is possible, man. So hey, without further ado, y'all have an awesome day and or awesome night, whatever whoever you listening to, whatever time
Right.
you
Right.
listening. But look, appreciate you guys. Love y'all. Peace.